Welcome back, folks. My name is LastKnownMeal, and guess what? Max Payne is back, baby, because Remedy and Rockstar have entered an agreement to remake Max Payne 1 and Max Payne 2. And if you're my generation, there is a high chance you probably grew up with Max Payne games. Now you're probably asking, well, LastKnownMeal, you're probably too young to play these games when they came out. Yes, I was. Because the story of Max Payne was nothing that I've seen before. It was very dark, and for me, who was a young kid back then, that was that was kind of a tough story, especially going from Max Payne 1 and everything which has happened to Max with his family and how it pushed him to do stuff. It was kinda surreal to play the game, but nevertheless, even to this day, I remember playing it, and I actually go back into Max Payne every now and then just to replay a couple of levels, just because I like that game a lot, because when it came out, it was groundbreaking. The action, the atmosphere, the bullet time, Max Payne doing all kinds of stunts to basically destroy people. That was a lot of fun. And from an action game perspective, and even not just from an action game, it was phenomenal. And also on the writing side, the game was absolutely phenomenal. And all of these years right now, when I actually thought that Max Payne franchise is basically dead at this point, we learned that Remedy enters an agreement with Rockstar Games for Max Payne 1 and 2. And this is what actually the Sam Houser, founder of Rockstar Games, said about it. We were thrilled when our longtime friends at Remedy approached us about remaking the original Max Payne games. We are massive fans of the work the Remedy team has created over the years, and we can't wait to play these new versions. So of course this was the idea of Remedy Games, because we know that Rockstar is not going to move their finger for anything. So obviously, because they remade Alan Wake and it turned out to be a success, of course they want to remake this as well. Now this is, as they said here, is going to be a full remake, so not a remaster. They're not going to just up the graphics, they're not going to just up the textures and basically be done with it. So it does seem that they're going to remake the game from the ground up, which honestly would be kinda expected, because Max Payne 1 and Max Payne 2 are pretty old games at this point. Especially Max Payne 1 has not aged really well, while Max Payne 2 aged a little bit well, because during that time they had more money to develop Max Payne 2, because if you remember, some of you, Max Payne 1 was kind of almost an indie title in some form of it, because it didn't have a huge funding. It was generally a small title. Even the face of Max Payne in Max Payne 1 is Sam Lake, the writer and basically the creative director from Remedy. And for people asking, what does Take-Two and Rockstar have to do with all of this? Why are they involved? Well, they kinda have to be, because in 2002, Take-Two basically bought the rights for the entire Max Payne franchise for $10 million, which was a lot of money for that time, and also I believe around 1 million shares in the company. They paid a lot of money to actually get the Max Payne franchise during that time. Obviously, they have made a lot more money from that, but even when Max Payne 1 and Max Payne 2 came out, they didn't sell crazy. They didn't have crazy sales out there, but the people who played the games and the people who actually went throughout the franchise, they kind of stayed fans throughout all of these years, and the game kind of achieved a cult following. And even to this day, it's going to be one of the most, how would I say, engaging and one of the most mature franchises out there when it just comes to action and the story itself. Also, the remake is going to be coming out for PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, and it's going to be done in their Northlight game engine, so that's basically their in-house engine. So Northlight was used for the Alan Wake and it was used for Control, so you can kind of figure out already how is that going to look like, especially because Remedy kind of maintained a similar style of combat that they had from Max Payne. If you played Control, you know what I'm talking about. It definitely reminds you of Max Payne. So when you think about these remakes, just imagine Max Payne but with the graphics of Control. Probably RTX as well, which would be cool to include it, because this is coming out for PC, PlayStation 5 and or basically next gen. It does seem that they want to enhance it a lot more, because they haven't included the previous gen here, which was kind of strange to see, but at the same time understandable, because more and more companies now are just moving away from last gen because it's squeezed out. You cannot really squeeze out more from it at all. Now, of course, going back to Max Payne and everything that that game has, when you think about it today, the story of the game was extremely dark, and it's going to be interesting to see if they maintain everything from that story. Honestly, I don't want them to change anything from Max Payne 1 and Max Payne 2 when it comes to story, especially in Max Payne 2 when Mona Sachs gets involved and you get to play with her, and there is this whole, how would I say, chemistry between her and Max, and it's just amazing to see overall. And not just that, but every single level in this game was really cool to play out, in my opinion. I don't know if it's just nostalgia speaking from me or if it's that, but even to this day, because I played the game yesterday, the gameplay still holds out, and I was like, wow. Because, you know, when you make something so good, so fun, so engaging, of course that's going to stay for years to come. And especially now that they're doing the remake, and the amount of people who got excited about the remake just shows you like how many more people just want that game. It's also going to be interesting how they do the face, because obviously Sam Lake is not going to be the face of Max Payne the remake, so they might hire a new actor. They might go with the same actors they had for Max Payne 3 and Max Payne 2, because obviously you had different ones for each game. We'll see, but for now we just have to wait and see what happens. But honestly, if you've never played Max Payne before, I definitely recommend that you do. Even before the remake comes out, I definitely recommend playing the original version if you can. I got it on disc, but if you can find it, obviously on disc it would be great, but you can just get it on Steam, I believe, if you want, so it's going to be there. It might be even on this, the dumb Rockstar launcher, but I think the first two games are on Steam as well, so it's not going to be an issue. But I definitely recommend playing throughout these games if you haven't already. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I wanted to talk about this because Max Payne is just a huge part of my gaming childhood. Whenever I played games before, Max Payne was definitely one of them, and throughout all of these years I can still go back and play it again and still have the same fun I had before, and hopefully this remake is going to enhance that experience even more. Hopefully. But Remedy is a capable studio, so I kinda have some, you know, I have some good feelings about this game, so hopefully it doesn't disappoint us. But yeah, as I said, this is everything for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter and Discord as well, where you can basically continue the discussion there. And also, huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed this video, click that like and subscribe button. If you haven't, that's it. But yeah, this is LKM signing out. Stay classy everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.